You know, there's a very specific kind of anxiety that hits you when you walk into a big meeting.
Mm,
It's not that you don't know your job. You know the data, you've got the strategy, but you freeze.
right.
You stay silent because you're terrified that if you open your mouth, you're going to break I don't know, some invisible rule. You'll sound
Or
unprofessional.
worse, like you just don't belong there. It's that imposter syndrome, but for
Yes.
communication.
Yes.
That
Exactly.
little voice telling you that everyone else got a handbook on how to speak corporate,
Yes.
and you were out sick that day.
You missed the memo. And that is exactly the code that we are going to crack today. We are not just looking at grammar.
Right.
We're digging into the psychology of professional presence.
Mhm.
Our source for this is a really fascinating breakdown from the Speak English Daily podcast. It features a case study of a guy named Rahul.
And Rahul is the perfect person for this because his struggle is so common.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's totally capable. His English is
He
fluent.
knows the words.
He knows the words. But he's hitting these invisible walls because he's missing the sociolinguistic piece of the puzzle, the unspoken rules of a corporate hierarchy.
That's the key distinction, isn't it? Linguistic fluency versus sociolinguistic competence. Rahul is using casual, friendly habits in a very rigid professional world.
Yeah, he's trying to navigate a minefield without a map.
Yeah.
So our mission today in this deep dive is to basically build that map for you. We're
Yeah.
going to pull apart Rahul's journey and build a toolkit.
A toolkit with what? Specific phrases?
Specific phrases, yeah, but also psychological shifts and what I like to call status signals that you can use to, well, to immediately command a bit more respect in any room.
Okay, so let's start where the workday starts. The greeting.
Seems so basic.
It really does, almost trivial. But the source material points to this as Rahul's first big mistake. He was coming into the office and greeting people with a simple hi or, the classic, what's up?
Which is friendly.
Yeah.
In a social context, it's perfectly fine. But in a corporate setting, you have to think about what that signals. What's up is inherently casual. It implies a peer-to-peer sort of low-stakes relationship. It's what you say to a friend, not your director in the hallway.
So it's a category error. He's using the wrong tool for the job.
Precisely. The source points out that by using these casual greetings, Rahul was, without even realizing it, lowering his own status. He was signaling, hey, I'm not really in work mode yet.
And the fix is to switch to something like, good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon. These time-based greetings, it isn't about being formal or stiff. It's about switching the code. It signals, I am here, I am professional, I am ready to go.
There was a nuance in there about hierarchy that really stood out to me. The source says if you're talking to someone senior, good morning on its own might not be enough.
Right, the advice is to add their name.
Good morning, Mr. Sharma.
Exactly.
So why does just adding the name carry so much weight?
Well, it's a recognition of status. In a lot of corporate cultures, acknowledging the person's name and, by extension, their title, it's a kind of social currency. It validates their position.
So a simple morning is just efficient, but good morning, Mr. Sharma is what? An investment.
It's a micro-investment in the relationship, yes.
Yeah.
It shows you aren't just going through the motions. You see them as an individual,
Yeah.
and you respect the structure you're both in.
It's fascinating how these tiny verbal cues add up. You're building a reputation for competence before you've even opened your laptop.
That's it. Competence isn't just about your work output. It's about how you're perceived. And that perception starts the second you walk in the door.
Okay, so we've gotten through the door. Now for the main event. The place where reputations are really made or broken. The meeting.
The arena.
Yes. And Rahul says this was his biggest source of anxiety. He said, and this is a quote, I was afraid to disagree. I didn't know how to say you are wrong without starting a fight.
And that's the dissent dilemma, right? If
Yeah.
you never disagree, you don't add any value, you're just taking up a chair. But if you disagree badly, you become difficult.
And Rahul's gut instinct was just to be blunt. You are wrong.
Which might be factually correct, but it's socially a disaster.
Yeah.
The moment you say you are wrong, you're not attacking the idea anymore, you're attacking the person.
You trigger that fight or flight response?
Totally. The brain just shuts down. They stop listening to your logic and start building a defense for their ego.
So how do we get around the ego? The source gives a few of these softener phrases. They act like a Trojan horse for your disagreement.
I love that. A Trojan horse. You have to get your idea inside the castle walls without setting off the alarms. The first phrase they suggest is, I understand your point, but I see it differently.
Let's break that down. I understand your point.
That's the validation piece. You're saying, I heard you. I'm not dismissing you. That immediately lowers their defenses. Then you pivot. But I see it differently.
You're not saying their view is incorrect.
Not at all. You're just introducing another perspective. It shifts the whole conversation from a right versus wrong battle to a more collaborative perspective, A versus perspective B.
It invites comparison, not combat. There's another one in the source that feels even more collaborative. That's a good suggestion. However, we could also consider another approach.
That's the yes and of the corporate world. You start with validation, good suggestion, and then you frame your idea as an additional option, not a replacement. You're adding to the menu, not criticizing their choice.
What about those times when you can't even get a word in?
Ah, the entry strategy. The source suggests something simple but really powerful. May I add something?
It's polite.
It's more than polite. It's a display of control. Interrupting is aggressive. But asking for permission to speak, it shows you respect the flow of the conversation, which paradoxically gives you more authority when you do speak.
So it seems like the big theme here is emotional regulation. Rahul found that using these phrases didn't just change how others saw him.
It changed how he felt.
Yeah, they made him feel more confident.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just reacting emotionally anymore. When you have a script, when you know how to frame your dissent, you don't panic. True professional confidence is often just the absence of visible anxiety.
Okay, let's shift to the ask. We all need things from colleagues, right? Reports, data, whatever. Rahul, in his early days, would just walk up to someone and say, "Send me the report."
Oof. Direct.
Very direct and efficient. But the source flags this as a huge mistake. It comes across as an order.
And unless you're a drill sergeant, barking orders is a really fast way to build resentment. It just strips the other person of any sense of agency.
So the fix is about giving that agency back.
Yeah.
The source suggests changing "send me the report" to something like, "Could you please send me the report?"
Or, would you mind sharing the report by 4 p.m.?
Right. It's the illusion of choice.
That's a great way to put it. When you ask, could you or would you mind, you're technically asking a question. You're giving them the theoretical option to say no. Now, they probably can't say no, but framing it as a request acknowledges their autonomy. It's respectful.
It's amazing how much work a simple word like "please" does in that sentence. The source even talks about that fear some people have, that saying "please" makes you look weak.
That is such a huge misconception. Being an alpha in a modern workplace isn't about dominating people. The person with the real power is the one who can drive action without resorting to force.
So using "please" isn't begging.
Not at all. It just means you're a professional who respects other people's time. You are commanding the process, not the person.
Commanding the process, not the person. I like that. Okay, I want to get to a section I found super actionable. The source calls them linguistic landmines.
These are the little phrases that just scream amateur or outsider.
They spread like a virus, right? People hear them and just start repeating them. The first one is a classic, "I am having a doubt."
Oh, this is a fascinating one. It's really about the difference between, say, Standard American or British English and other global variants. In many parts of the world, doubt is just a synonym for question.
But in the US or UK, doubt has a really negative weight to it.
It's heavy. If I say, I doubt your numbers, I'm not asking for clarification.
You're saying, "I think your numbers are wrong."
Exactly. It implies suspicion. So if you're in a global meeting and you say, I'm having a doubt about your strategy, you think you're being curious, but they hear you challenging their integrity.
And the fix is so easy. Just swap it for, "I have a question."
Or, could you clarify something for me? Instantly neutral.
Yeah.
You go from sounding suspicious to sounding curious.
Okay, landmine number 2. "I see this in emails every single day. I will revert back."
Ah, the dreaded double back. The word revert already means to turn back. It has back baked into its definition.
So revert back is like saying return back.
It's redundant, yeah. And look, it's a small thing, but it signals a lack of precision. The source suggests the much cleaner, I will get back to you.
Or even just, "I'll update you."
I'll update you is even better. It's strong. It implies forward movement. Revert just feels like you're going backwards.
Third landmine. This one was specific to Rahul, but I think the principle is universal. He used to start requests with, "Do one thing."
Right. Do one thing, call the client. It's a filler phrase that's really a command in disguise. And in English, it can sound a bit condescending.
Like you're giving a chore to a child.
A little bit, yeah. And again, the fix is just to be direct but polite. Strip out the filler. Could you please call the client?
The lesson with all these landmines seems to be about cleaning up the noise.
That's a good way to put it, the noise. They distract from your actual message. If you eliminate them, your communication gets cleaner, and you, by extension, just seem more competent.
Speaking of competence, let's talk about the Rahul method. The source highlights 3 things Rahul changed about his behavior, not just his words, that helped him project more authority. The first one is so counterintuitive if you're anxious. He learned to speak more slowly.
It's pure biology. When we're nervous, that fight or flight kicks in, adrenaline spikes, and we just want to get the words out as fast as we can to get out of the spotlight.
We've all done that. You start talking and suddenly you're sprinting through your sentence.
And that speed signals insecurity. It tells everyone, I don't think I deserve your time, so I'm going to use as little of it as possible. When Raul deliberately slowed down, he hacked their perception. We perceive people who speak slowly as more authoritative.
It signals I'm comfortable taking up this space.
And I'm worth listening to. Plus, it gives your brain a chance to catch up with your mouth, which cuts down on all the ums and us.
His second tactic was preparation. He stopped trying to wing it in meetings.
Look, if communication is your anxiety point, improvisation is your enemy. Rahul started scripting his key points, his opening line, how he'd transition.
It sounds a bit rigid, but it's really a safety net.
It's just professional. The best speakers in the world have a structure. Knowing how you're going to start and end frees up your mind to actually listen to what's happening.
Which is his third tactic. Listening.
This is the big one. When you're insecure, you're trapped in your own head. How do I sound? Is my grammar okay? What should I say next? You're not actually listening, you're just rehearsing.
It takes the focus off yourself.
It does. And it guarantees that when you finally do speak, what you say is actually relevant to the conversation.
There is one last rule added by the host in the source material, and I think this is the golden rule for anyone trying to sound smart. The less is more rule.
Yes. This one is so important. It challenges the idea that professional means complex. People try to use big words, utilize instead of use, facilitate instead of help.
We need to leverage our core competencies to facilitate a paradigm shift.
And no one has any idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The source is clear. Professional English is about clarity, not complexity. If you use a $10 word when a $1 word works better, you don't look smart. You look like you're trying too hard.
Clarity is the ultimate sophistication.
Absolutely.
So we've covered the mindset, the phrases, the landmines. I want to pull it all together now with this blueprint the source provides. They do a role play where Rahul gives a project update, and the structure is something every single listener should just memorize.
It's the anatomy of a perfect update. It just cuts through all the noise.
Let's walk through it. Step
Polite.
1, the opening.
Simple, good morning, polite, sets the stage.
Step 2, the what?
We have completed the research phase. It's retrospective. Clear, simple past tense. Done.
Step 3, the now.
We are currently working on the design. Present status. Clear.
And step 4, the final step, the when.
We expect to finish by Friday. The future commitment. The timeline.
That's it, 4 sentences. Good morning, research is done, we're on design, we'll finish Friday.
And notice what's missing. There are no excuses, no long stories, no fluff. It leaves zero room for ambiguity. When you speak that clearly, you project total control.
As a manager, hearing an update like that is so soothing. I just relax. I know you've got it handled.
And that's the goal, right? You're managing your manager's anxiety by being incredibly concise.
We've gone deep on tactics, but I want to zoom out for a second to the philosophy the source ends on. Rahul's final piece of advice is this. Don't try to speak perfect English. Try to speak clear English.
That is so liberating. We get so hung up on tiny grammar rules or our accents. But in a global business world, perfection is irrelevant. Utility is everything. If I understand you, that's what matters.
The source says it perfectly. Professionalism isn't about accent. It's about respect, clarity, and confidence.
I'd add consistency to that list. Consistently using the right greetings, the right softeners, the right update structure, that's what builds your personal brand.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of the toolkit we've built for everyone listening.
All right. First, the greeting. Drop the what's up. Stick with good morning and add a name to show respect for hierarchy.
Second, how to disagree. Never say you are wrong. Use that yes and approach. I see your point, but I view it differently.
Third, the request. Stop giving orders. Use could you and would you mind. It fosters cooperation.
Fourth, those landmines. As of today, delete, revert back, and I am having a doubt from your vocabulary.
And finally, the update. Past, present, future. Keep it simple. Keep it slow.
You know, as we look at this whole list, we call it corporate speak. We call it professionalism. But when you look at the mechanics of it, validating people, respecting their time, being clear, isn't this all just empathy?
That is a really profound way of looking at it.
Seriously, think about it. I understand your point validates their feelings. Could you please respect their autonomy? Good morning name acknowledges their existence. We think of these as cold, hard corporate skills, but maybe being professional is just an exercise in high-stakes empathy.
I think you're onto something. We see these corporate rules as restrictive, but maybe they're actually bridges. They're protocols designed to minimize friction between people. If you strip away the jargon, professional communication is just the art of making yourself easy to work with.
Which means you have to think about the other person's experience.
Exactly.
So the next time you're in a meeting and you feel that imposter syndrome creeping in, maybe the question isn't, how do I sound smart? Maybe it's, how do I make this as easy as possible for everyone else in this room to understand?
That shift in perspective takes all the pressure off you and puts the focus back where it should be, on the work and on the team.
So here's our challenge to you listening. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just pick one thing from this deep dive.
Just one. Maybe it's the I see it differently line, or maybe just swapping revert back for I'll update you in your next email.
Try it, use it in your next meeting, your next interaction, and just watch what happens. I bet you'll feel a shift.
Small pivots, big impact.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving in with us today. Go out there and communicate with clarity. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.